Hello and welcome to the second edition of Positive Pets with MJ. I should have had you actually begin the show.
That's
MJ.
okay. You do a great job.
Why don't you let everybody know your name and then you can tell them who I am.
I'm Melissa Vieira, or MJ, and this is Positive Pets with MJ with Tim Weisenberg.
Yeah, I'm just here to kind of press buttons and jiggle my headphones to make sure I can make them work. But we are here. This is going to be a weekly show here on WBSM TV, which is what we call our YouTube channel, for people that want to call in and discuss any of their issues with their pets. Last week we talked about pet grooming and pet training, a little bit of an overview. And the idea is for us to keep discussing that week after week until finally people realize that, you know, you got to take better care of your pets.
And this week is all about puppy grooming.
That's going to be a very interesting topic, I think, because as we were saying before we came on the air, there's a lot of people who have puppies, especially this time of year.
Yeah, it tends to be puppy season. A lot of people are getting puppies this time of year, getting ready for spring, hopefully.
And why is that? I mean, what do you think it is that makes them want to go out and get the puppies? Is it because of the change of the season?
There's definitely some benefits to getting a puppy this time of year because potty training is a little easier when you're not outside in freezing temperatures.
And I think, too, that part of the appeal is it gives people a reason to want to go out. You know, like a lot of people sit around on their butts all winter and are like, if I get a dog, then at least I have a reason to go for a walk around the neighborhood. So
there's no days off with a dog, that's for sure.
I do think, though, too, you run the risk of, if you're like me and you're already lazy, you get the dog thinking that's going to make you go out and do things. And then what ends up happening is you just end up with a lazy dog.
Your dog is not lazy.
No, she's not, unfortunately. I try to make her that way, but it doesn't work. So if people want to call in and share or ask any questions, the number is 508-996-0500. 877-996-1420 is the number to call in if you want to call in toll free, because that might still be a thing for some people.
Is it?
I don't know. Most people are on their cell phones, so it's all kind of inclusive. But just in case, we have that option if people want to do it. And as well as we get more and more into these, and you'll eventually be sitting on this side of things, and I'll be sitting over there, and then I don't have to talk, and I can pay attention to other things, and we can have the chat room going on the YouTube channel.
That'll be really fun.
So if people don't want to call in and they're a little bit nervous, maybe they're worried about, somebody knowing their name when they call in and be like, well, I beat my dog. Is that a good idea?
Oh, no.
No, I'm just
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
But at least people that don't want to call in. Some people aren't comfortable with calling in, even if it's just on the internet. So they'll have that option of asking the question in the chat room.
That'll be fun. I like that.
And then you also have the option of, having to deal with trolls in the chat room as well.
Yeah, that's even more fun.
Absolutely. So as we are doing the show, the idea is to do it every Tuesday night at this time.
Yeah.
Because you're coming right from
I
class.
am. I just came from trick class. We had a really good class. The dogs learned a lot of tricks tonight. So then I came right here.
What kind of tricks were they working on tonight?
They're working on retrieving. So they're learning to pick up items and carry them around. And this might just be a basic item from a toy, but we're also training things like shoes and slippers and having them fetch keys and things like that. That's the long-term goal, is that they'll pick up whatever you ask them to. Is
it possible that maybe we could teach some of the dogs to like run the video stream and maybe come in here and run the board? Because then we could, really put them to work.
That would be pretty cool. I think we should get on that. It should take me like 3 days tops.
We just can't pay them, so you have to tell them it's an internship.
Oh, that's fine.
And we'll get them credit at Doggy College. So again, 508-996-0500 is the number. If anybody wants to call in with any questions during the show, and it can be about anything, about any pet, really.
Yeah,
because
rabbits, cats, dogs.
As we discussed last week in the first episode, which I tricked you into thinking was going to be a practice show.
I know.
Turned out to be. It came out well, so we might as well put it out there.
Yeah, that was good. Good trick.
We learned from your background that you can speak about all different kinds of animals. You've trained and groomed all different kinds of animals, so it's all on the table. I guess, the challenge is trying to find somebody that has a pet that you haven't worked with in any capacity.
I mean, I'm not like a reptile expert, so that would be a challenge for me.
We could probably fake our way through that.
Yeah.
And
I don't know much about spiders, really.
That's what I don't even know why people keep those as pets. But the really exotic things aren't legal in this state anyway. So
yeah, so
if they call in and say that they have it, then they're just exposing themselves.
Exactly.
We can trace your numbers back
Unless
and
they use the chat room.
tell the animal police. That is true. That is a way to get around it. Because if you could have monkeys in Massachusetts, Chris McCarthy, who hosts the show here on WBSM every weekday, really wants a monkey.
Oh no.
But if he's wanted one his whole life. But if somebody had a monkey and they were legal, you would be able to groom the monkey.
I mean, if somebody had a monkey and they were legal, sure.
you would at least, if you didn't already know how to groom a monkey, you would learn. But you could probably just teach the monkey to groom itself
yeah,
too.
exactly. Yeah.
So, and also to fight crime.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of movies where monkeys fight crime, helping out Clint Eastwood, getting into bar fights and
to work
trucks.
the buttons.
Yes, a monkey would be perfect.
Perfect, right?
I'm actually going to start legislation.
Yeah.
I'm going to call Senator Montigny and say that we need some legislation in place so that we can have monkeys. We'll call them not so much pets as maybe workplace companions.
Yeah.
Who can help
you would
out.
definitely have to pay the monkey. Let's be fair.
How much could you use a monkey in your daily life? I'm sure you could use a monkey to help you out with all kinds of things.
Yeah, probably.
You're already training the dogs to help you out. And
monkeys
fetch
are so
things
smart. They'd be training us. They would overtake us.
That's true. Like I'd have a monkey like managing all my social media.
Yeah.
And have like all of a sudden I'd be like, why do I have 10,000 followers? The monkey would just be like, because that's how like a chimpanzee responds to everything, which is why
they totally do.
So I can be like, hey, what do you think of this? Okay, I'll take that as a yes or a no. Anyway, let's not be too silly. So you had said that tonight we were going to talk about puppy grooming.
Yeah.
And I would assume that when there's that period of when a puppy is under the care of its mother before you've taken it away from the mother. I assume that at that point the mother's taking care of everything that needs to get done.
Well, it's really important that pet owners start thinking about grooming their puppy right from the beginning. So you might have it in your mind that wait until the coat's long enough and you can actually do something with it. But even if the coat hasn't grown out or your puppy doesn't need grooming, if you start thinking about this right from the start, you can train the puppy how to enjoy grooming and that it's not a scary experience, because there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, they're traveling to the location, so if they're not used to going in the car, and then of course there's all the equipment, there's dryers and clippers and scissors. So to just bring a puppy for their first time and expect them to be fully groomed is a lot to ask for a baby.
So it's almost like if you start early with a puppy, you're cheating a little bit because you're going to make it nice and easy for when you have to do it. Or, you could kind of learn alongside the puppy too and realize like, he doesn't like this, he does like this. So you kind of have an idea already so that when you bring the dog to the groomer, you can say, hey, listen, just so you know, when you come at him with the nail clippers, he may pee.
Right, exactly. And we don't want that to happen. We want them to love it.
And so it's when you say, starting it at that, like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about a couple of weeks? Are we talking about a couple of months? How old before you really start to
as soon as you bring the puppy home, you can already start working on some of these things even before you're ready to bring the puppy out in the world, because of course you want to wait till you've had a visit with your own vet and the puppy's on schedule with all the vaccines. But you can start handling the paws and getting them used to different noises and handling the ears. Those are usually the common problem areas. That's why I mention them. But a lot of people, I feel like, think my dog's really good with handling, so they're going to be fine for grooming. But it's so different once you start asking them to stand still for a really long time, or start putting it together. Like after getting a bath, getting groomed, that can be a lot for them. So getting them used to that at home.
So when you say kind of getting them used to the idea, so like when you're patting your puppy, you want to make sure that you touch the ears and maybe like put your hand, like grab the paws and separate the I guess what do they call them? Like we would call them toes.
I mean, we can call them
fingers,
toes. Yeah.
So if you but is there an actual term for it, or
toes is fine?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if
pads of the paws, if you're talking about the bottom.
So you want to kind of like maybe like just pull them apart a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Not hurt them, but just enough so that they're used to that motion.
Yeah, and you want them to learn to love this. And also for the equipment, clippers, if you have clippers at home or something that sounds like clippers, you can practice turning that on and feeding your puppy at the same time, so they start to think that's a really positive thing, because how weird is that if someone just like puts clippers behind your head and you don't know what it is and you've never heard it before? It would be really scary.
Have you seen those videos?
No, what don't, oh no.
Okay, so you can get an app on your phone that sounds like a pair of clippers. So if you don't have clippers at home and you want to get your animal used to the sound of it, you can certainly download this app, and it looks like a pair of clippers on your phone.
I'm so behind.
And you press the button and it makes the sound.
That's
so that's a
awesome.
good way to get them used to it without having to worry about, slipping and cutting something. But what you can also do is you can go up behind people when they're like sitting on the couch or whatever. You come up behind them with the clippers and you stick the phone up against their head and they freak out thinking that you're buzzing their head.
That's actually a perfect example.
It works out really well. So I've seen it in
up.
action. So that's a good way to practice if you don't have clippers. So how long would you say it takes? So you got to bring the puppy to the vet and make sure they're all checked out and everything. But I'd assume at some point there's a natural kind of a window of time when a puppy is ready to come out and get groomed.
Yeah, usually around, I would say 5 months of age, sometimes a little bit younger, depending on the puppy and depending on the type of appointment. So you might not want to bring a young puppy to a busy grooming salon, but there's also options for private appointments and even just visits. Like that's something we do is we offer, if you have a puppy and you're not ready to get them groomed, just come by and do a cookie visit. Let them meet us and let them see that it's a fun place. That way next time they come in, they're really excited about it.
And by that point, you've had a long time with your puppy to kind of get them ready for this. So it's not like, you got to be all ready to go in the first 2 weeks that you have the puppy and, you're under a time crunch. That gives you plenty of time to get them used to the experience. And so for a groomer, I would assume that there's some differences between how you handle a puppy and how you handle an adult dog, even if it's an adult dog coming in for its first ever grooming with you.
I mean, there's a lot of baby talk.
Well, do you
That's
not?
every dog, though.
I was gonna say, do you not baby talk the adult dogs?
No, I mean the biggest difference is just giving them breaks. They need more breaks than an adult dog, and just working with them. If they're uncomfortable with something, we work with them and help them and give them play breaks and just play and relaxing.
So a dog owner might want to know, hey, how come it takes me so much longer to have my puppy groomed than it takes my adult dog? But that'd be the reason why. Because
and then they walk in and we're like laying on the floor, puppies.
They're like, no, we're not done yet.
Yeah.
We're only halfway through. But you're laying down. What are you, taking a nap? So when they do come in, what are some of the common things that you're seeing that puppies need to have right away? As opposed to, if a dog was coming in regularly and this is the first time you're seeing a young puppy, there's got to be some things that, need to have attention right away.
Well, I would definitely say nail trims are a big one because puppies don't know their manners yet. They're using their paws a lot, and you don't want to be getting scratched in addition to all the puppy nipping going on. So getting them used to nail trims is a great thing. And also, if you start getting them used to nail trims early on, you can start getting the nails really short. So what happens is there's a vein that grows with the nails, the quick. And if you only cut the dog's nails every so often, the quick kind of grows with the nail and it doesn't cut back. So if you get them cut often, you can safely get them shorter and shorter each time. And then by the time the dog is older, they're used to nail trims and they have nice short nails, which is healthy for them too, because it's healthy for their shape of their paws and their anatomy.
And we talked too about people getting puppies this time of year. And one of the things that you have to worry about is, getting ticks and things like that. And if you're a new dog owner and you don't know how to pat your dog down for ticks, then this is a good way for you to be able to tell them, no, here, look, this is...
That's a really good point. Ticks are so bad. I'm seeing ticks this season.
I've heard from other people that they've encountered them already. I haven't seen any yet myself, but I know that too with my dog, lucky enough, her hair is relatively short, so when you're patting her, you can kind of see where there's issues, but she also has a tendency to, rough and tumble. She'll get scabs and stuff too, and I'll be like, what is this? Is this a tick? Do I have to take this off? And she kind of like looks at me like, it's not a tick. Just leave it alone.
She knows.
Yeah. She's like, no, that's when I was running around in the thorn bushes, and that's when I was, chasing I was dragging a giant tree branch, and I cut myself up. And
wow, she tells you all that?
Oh yeah.
My dogs don't even tell me what they've been up to.
Yeah.
They're more secretive. I
She's
think.
bragging is what it is. So when people do come in then with their puppies for the first time, and if they have done the job and they've gotten them ready, it should be a pretty enjoyable experience for the puppy. But
yeah, definitely,
there may be some aftercare involved with, just kind of calming them down just to make sure that they don't get anxiety for the next time. What are some of the things people can do with their puppy after they come back from the groomer?
Well, if we notice areas that the puppy has issues or nervousness about, or even if the puppy is just overly excited, sometimes it's not nervousness, but they're just so excited about all of the attention they're getting. So what we'll do is we will give them some homework and tell them which areas to work on at home. That way they have plenty of time before their next grooming appointment.
And I guess too, me being, I'm a cheap person, and there's a lot of people who probably are, and the tendency might be to be, oh well, once I take the puppy to the groomer for the first time and everything is right, then I can kind of just keep things up on my own. But that's not always the case. I mean, I'm sure you can do that with some animals, but
there's definitely things you can do at home, and I would never discourage anyone from grooming at home and doing maintenance grooming at home, because that's really important too, combing out the dog every day. We see a lot of Shih Tzus and Doodles and dogs with a lot of coat, so they need to be maintained at home, and that's excellent. That's a great thing.
Well, the Shih Tzus and the Doodles is why you need to bring them into the groomer to get all that out of the matted fur, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
But short dogs come in too.
Okay. No, that was a poop joke.
I didn't get it.
That's all right. Most of my jokes are poop jokes.
I thought you were just trying to get out of bringing your dog in because she has short hair.
No. But as we've talked about before too, every dog has different issues. Some dogs, if they have longer fur, they'll shed. If they have shorter fur, they might have oily fur. They might be prone to become smellies like my dog.
Yeah, shedding, dander. Of course, then there's the care to the nails, teeth, and ears, which is also a part of grooming as well.
What is probably the biggest challenge if people try to do it at home? You had mentioned the nails and the quick.
Yeah.
If people are trying to groom at home, what's the thing that they always end up in? I'm sure you get dogs that come in where, they've got 2 claws that have been trimmed and 2 nails that have been trimmed, and then the rest of the dog hasn't been because they gave up.
I would say definitely the nails is still the biggest issue, I would say, at home, but also trimming the face, because what happens is if the dog's not used to having their face held and then you try to trim their face, they have to be very still for this. So a lot of people will start trimming it and then they say it's just not working, and then they come in but we like to give them homework for that too, teaching the dogs a chin rest, where they just rest their chin in the palm of your hand, and it helps them learn to be still for face trimming.
Well, we have some viewers watching the show.
Oh, good.
She's like, oh, nobody told me there was actually going to be viewers. 508-996-0500, 877-996-1420 if you'd like to call in. And the numbers are right there on the YouTube channel. Of course, if you're watching this, it's because you are on YouTube, because that's the only way that you can see it right now while it's live. But afterwards, we're going to make every episode available on demand, and we'll put them up on WBSM.com as well. And if I would just want to stress to people who are maybe watching it on YouTube for the first time, there's a lot of different ways that you can watch the show through the YouTube channel. So it's not just being in front of a computer or being in front of your laptop. You can watch it on your phone. Almost every phone has the YouTube app on it. You can also watch it on your smart TV. If you have a smart TV, we got a big old smart TV over there that's not hooked up. But you can put it on your smart TV and watch it sitting at home on your couch. Did you do that at all? Did you sit on the couch and watch yourself in 50-inch glory?
I did not.
Well, you can.
I wonder if anyone's dogs have watched.
I'm sure that's what they're like. You're going to sit down on the couch and you're going to watch this show.
These aren't viewers. They're just making their pets watch.
That could be it. And then for another way, too, that a lot of people don't realize is that if you have an Xfinity cable box, you can actually watch YouTube on your cable box. And so you don't have to have any special extra equipment to be able to watch it. So people have no excuse to say, I don't know what to do with my pet, because they can watch this show every week.
Yeah.
Now, being, talking about puppy grooming, I'm sure as they get older and as they grow and their bodies will change, there'll be some things that you might be doing when they're younger that you won't have to do when they're older, or some new things that will come into play as they grow.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good point. It reminds me that the coat changes, too. So that's a very common time for matting. When the coat is changing from puppy coat to adult coat is when they start getting really matted. That soft kind of puppy coat is coming out and it's changing. So pay attention to that change, because it'll seem like overnight, all of a sudden, they have all these mats. But these mats have been kind of forming over time. Mats they're not a good thing, because it hurts the dogs if we try to take them out, and so try to keep up with the mats.
So they're bringing the dog into you to be groomed, but there's still grooming responsibilities at home. You want to brush your dog.
Yeah.
And what do you suggest people use for the right, equipment to do that?
Well, it depends on the coat type. Definitely a comb is something you want to have in your toolbox, and then a brush, either a pin brush or a slicker brush, because you can work on the coat with a brush and then make sure that you got everything with the comb. The biggest thing is you want to get down to the skin. So if you're just brushing the top coat, it might feel like the dog is really smooth on top, but then if they have really thick coats underneath, that could be matted. So just checking it through with a comb.
So it's the same as if, you were combing your hair, and that it's going to get all gnarled up if you don't, keep it relatively nice.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty similar.
I'm experiencing that myself now. I might have to come in and see you for a trim because, like, my hair hasn't been this long in years, and I'm realizing, like, if I don't keep brushing it, it's going to get all kind of gnarled up. So, and then one of the other things that I wanted to ask you about when it comes to, with puppies especially, you see a lot of these products that are out there now. It's like a air freshener for your. It's like for breezing your dog.
Yeah.
You can spray in all these things that when you comb it in, it makes your dog smell better.
Yeah.
First of all, are those a good idea?
Yeah. Well, depending on which kind you buy, but it's actually good if you have a long-coated dog and you're brushing them to brush wet, so mist either a little bit of water or conditioner, so you're not damaging the coat, because you don't want to just keep brushing over dry hair. That might break the hair.
And is there an age where, that they have to be before you start putting these kind of chemical things into their fur?
Well, we don't use any chemical things, no matter what.
But you know what I mean? Like, like anything that's not just water.
I think most products out there now are pretty safe for any age, puppy and kitten safe.
Although I do see on the labels, they say, do not use this product on dogs, do not use this product on cats.
Yeah, so there's definitely some products that you could use on dogs that you don't want to use on cats. So just make sure you read the labels really well.
So it's not just my assumption that that's just a sound business strategy to say, no, don't use this on your cat and your dog. You have to buy the separate bottle for the cat and the dog.
I mean, it really could be.
That's what I was thinking. But that's what, I've seen people that have taken... spray bottles of water, and they've added, fruit into it so that when they spray their dog, they're spraying with fruit scented water and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that makes a difference, but
fruit
might make you feel better. Yeah, well, just having like a citrusy smell to it.
I don't know about that.
No?
Maybe.
I would be worried that it would sting.
I think you're thinking of something totally different.
No, like infusing the water with fruit
Maybe
smells.
for like an all-natural flea repellent type of thing, people will use different types of scents for that. So that might be like the citrus or what's that? Maybe it's pine. I don't know. Citronella, pine.
Putting like Lysol on your dog?
No, don't do that.
No. So, and that's another thing too with flea control. Like, at what age do you really start to need to worry about what you're doing to handle fleas?
Well, fleas can start jumping on your dog right away. There's no age, fleas don't discriminate against age, but the problem is you can't use certain products with younger dogs. And just talk to your vet and see what they recommend and see what their, options are, because they're going to have a lot of different options. It's not just one flea treatment. Different things work better for different lifestyles too. So some people might like a topical, some people might like a collar, and then some people take the natural route. So that's just up to you and what works for you.
So you don't have, I think when we're talking about flea treatment, is there a differentiation between what a groomer will recommend and what a veterinarian will recommend? Is flea treatment kind of in your area of where you can make
yeah, well, we can do a flea bath to kill fleas if they're on the dog, but that's more of just a natural kill what's on them. When you go home, you have to take some further steps to make sure that the fleas don't jump back on, because that's not a long-term preventative. So,
but if somebody said to you, hey, what flea collar do you recommend? You would be comfortably making recommendations?
I would tell them what I use. I would say probably talk to your vet depending on the dog, but... it's not something that we like carry or sell or anything.
Because I live near a pond, so we have sand everywhere, and we have sand fleas everywhere. So I've actually gone through every possible flea treatment that you can go through when I had my cat and also with my dog. And not to ruin any sponsorships that we may get from the show, but the stuff that you squeeze on the back of their neck.
Yeah, there's a lot of different brands of that, so you're not ruining
those. Those never really worked.
Do you feel like you were washing your... Well, no, never mind. I'm not even gonna ask that question.
Well, it just felt like we would put it on, and we got the right size, weight, and for the dog and everything.
Yeah.
But it just felt like putting it on, it never made a difference. So you would just go back to the pet store and they'd say, well, just give her another treatment. Like, so, okay, there's another $20. So by the time
they're not cheap either.
Yeah,
it adds up.
I would just buy I didn't buy the box. I would buy
Yeah.
the one dose, and that would be $20. So by the time I finally put enough on there, I could have just either bought the box or tried something else. So going through all the different things that we went through, I don't know the name of it. I just go to the vet and get it. It comes in the gray tin, and it's the collar that lasts for like 8 months.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that has kept the fleas off the dog. And so it's a worthwhile investment every year to get one of those.
No, I think no matter what you use, if it's a collar or a topical, read the back of the package, because a lot of the topicals you don't want to wash the dog directly after or before you put it on. So if they have fleas and then they get a bath and then you put that on right after, it's not going to be as effective.
The possibility does exist that the dog doesn't get the fleas from going outside, that she gets them from me.
Oh.
So
You should wear the collar.
I should.
You probably shouldn't.
When I let my beard grow really long, I'm probably a flea magnet. We have a few moments left in the show. If anybody would like to call in, 508-996-0500 is the number to do so. I'm also trying to monitor the chat room and see if we get any questions in there as well. But I know that as puppies grow, and as you mentioned, their coat will change. Obviously, they'll get bigger and they'll weigh more. They'll get taller. They'll be more of you'll know what they're getting into by that point. You'll know, like, they're going to go outside and roll around, or you'll know if they're going to swim in the water or not. And so one of the things that I would want to know is if I had a pet and I let it go in a pool, where there's like chemicals. I know that a lot of people let their dogs swim in their pool. I don't think that's a good idea, because do you want to buy a new liner? But they'll bring their dogs in the pool. They'll bring their dogs into the pond. Some people will even bring their dogs to the ocean. How does that have an effect on them, both at a young age and as they get older?
So just like with us, if your dog's coat is in the pool a lot or in salt water, you want to make sure you rinse that out and condition your dog so it doesn't dry out the coat and damage the coat. But maybe not more importantly, but equally importantly, is that you fully dry and brush your dog after they've been swimming, because wet hair will just mat up. So you don't want to leave the coat wet, and then it just kind of gets all matty and gross. And
is there a certain age where you would say that they have to be before you'd want to put them into that type of an environment?
What, swimming?
Yeah. Well, the damage that can be caused by swimming, the
No, I mean, if you're starting a water dog out young, that's fine, as long as you're taking the precautions of brushing them and washing out the coat after.
And what about just blasting your dog with a hose?
Don't do that.
Why? My dog loves it.
That really?
No, she hates it.
Oh, see.
Well, it's not like
I mean, some dogs like water. You have to be careful they don't get like obsessive compulsive of like eating the water, though, because some dogs will do that, and you don't want them to make themselves sick either. Like if dogs play in the sprinklers, they can get a little bit overly excited and start eating the water. And
I didn't, and that's bad.
Well, you don't want them to get sick if they eat too much. They don't realize, they're not making the connection of, I'm going to eat all this water.
How much are they going to actually get, though?
They could get quite a bit.
I'll have to try that out. I know that, like, if I'm out in the back, like, hosing something down, or if the dog will come over,
I'll try that out, he says.
like, I'll just spray her a little bit just to mess with her, or I like to. She does try to bite it.
Yeah.
So like I will hold it out in front of her and she'll go to bite it, but I'll move it away so she can't get it, and then she'll like kind of run around after it.
You think you're messing with her. She thinks she's messing with you.
Probably. That's what she does.
Your dog is awesome.
All right. Well, we're just about out of time. So how can people get a hold of you during the week if they want to reach out and come in and see you, or if they want to call you and make an appointment?
Yeah, 855-465-7782 is the number to call, or just find us on our website or social media, mjspettrainingacademy.com.
And you do have on your website and with the social media, people can join and be part of a community and talk to other dog owners.
Yeah, there's a Facebook group also.
So again, give them the address one more time too, in case they want to come by.
132 South Main Street in Acushnet, and it's Suite C6.
The best part about it is you can drop the dog off, have the dog groomed, and then you can go and get some Chinese food or something.
There's everything in that plaza. It's awesome.
And then you could, or maybe, maybe you want to take a martial arts class. You can go do that while your dog's getting groomed.
Get your hair done.
But just remember that, she's a pet trainer and groomer. She's not a babysitter, so hurry up. Don't take all day. All right, well, that does it for this week's edition of Positive Pets. We'll be back next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. with another edition. If you missed any part of the show, you can always catch it on demand on YouTube. We get it up there pretty much right after the show is over, so it's always going to be there available for you to check out and share it and, like it on Facebook and share it on Twitter and all kinds of stuff. Get the word out there and help people have positive experiences with their pets. Now, did you think of a sign-off yet? Or
Train positive?
There you go. All right.
Train positive.
We'll talk to you next week. Hang on. I'm going to...